Maintaining peace is key to policing. The word police is actually said to come from the Greek word polis, which means city, because Greek men would gather in the center of the city to discuss order. But in this case, they're in the middle of the forest. And actually, if the police were referred to as a civil force in charge with deterring crime, then we know it came from England, and was generally associated with keeping the king's peace. In America, 1658, richer individuals would pay poorer individuals to be watchguards, the rich being those of the king. Then, in 1705, Philadelphia said, hey, let's have a militia, because it's better than some law dog. These people would then defend against the natives, slave rebellions, and the French. After the Revolutionary War, a bunch of slave laws came into play thanks to the Articles of Confederation and then the Constitution. Because of this, there were slave patrols enforcing those slave laws. Then the word police actually entered the dictionary around 1780, and finally New York established a police department in 1844, which meant police officers started to truly become justice-fighting daredevils. So who really created the police? Britain? The US? Greece? Anyway, we took a tour of the Davenport Police Department. We couldn't film too much, so here's what we got.
Records. And so that goes back a couple years because they digitally save it and then they put it in storage. And then so they all have the desks up here, and the numbers on the desks is the last number of the report. And then you have first shift, second shift, and third shift, lieutenant offices on the left.
On the left, not the right?
The right is our offices. They can get a taser, pick the keys to the car, they can get a fogger. We don't really take shotguns anymore. 40 mil launchers. So when you get your equipment, you come out here and you pick a car. You see all the cars have numbers.
Yeah.
And so you come out here and you go, oh, what car do I want? And you pick the keys.
So we have all these workbenches. We've got a lot of stuff going on. Currently everything that's out except for this side is mine. Our key chamber, we have a large one, a medium, and a small. Our medium one is currently out of order. But we have our large one for large cases. So when you have smooth objects that the prints can rub off easily, you're gonna be able to glue them in here so it heats super glue. And with the added humidity and the super glue, it hardens it to the surface. So right now I've got all the guns and the ammunition. The head stamps of the ammunition are so textured, you can't really get any prints off of those, so we put them flat on their head stamps. These have been glued and dried, and then we put a chemical dye on them. So we use R60, starts off looking orange, but will turn everything pink. So we like to say here we just dye everything pink.
So, like, what do you think the responsibilities of the police are, like, today?
Obviously, to keep the peace and order in the city, I would say, is the main goal. Through enforcing, obviously, the laws the best we can. I'd say the other side of it is helping the community.
I would add, like, also education. So, like, we enforce the laws, but a lot of people don't know every law. So the parts that we can educate them so they don't do it again, that helps us in the long run.
What was your favorite part about the police academy?
Overall, a lot of people, I don't know, people have mixed opinions on it because some guys had families, they had to leave. A lot of people didn't like the time away. That was kind of the downside of it. But some of the positive things were it's pretty good realistic training, I would say, for the most part. Introduced to, a lot of people just get introduced to firearms, defensive tactics, that kind of thing for the first time. So kind of lays a decent foundation, I would say, in that aspect of it. Personally, my favorite, defensive tactics, firearms, and driving. Ooh, I forgot about driving. Driving is pretty fun,
Driving
actually.
firearms.
Yeah, because we went to the Newton Speedway, and then the off-road pursuit training on gravel was pretty fun too.
Private and public policing are essentially the same jobs. Only difference is who signs the checks and their jurisdiction. Private policing refers to the provision of security-related services by private companies or organizations, rather than by government entities. Private security guards protect and private space over a public one. Public police officers protect the public by enforcing all laws to keep people safe. Public police are hired and paid by the government.
Women and minorities are increasingly represented in law enforcement agencies today and have actually established multiple diversity training programs to address the issues related to things like bias, discrimination, and even cultural sensitivity. Although this promotes more of an inclusive work environment, even still women and minorities in law enforcement continue to face gender and racial bias, which can impact their career advancement on the job. Though a lot of efforts are being made to increase the numbers of women and minorities in leadership positions within law enforcement today.